Hi and welcome to Nollywood Film Club. I'm Mr. C of Iroko Critic. I hope you are doing well. Okay, let's just get straight into this. I did not. Okay, anyway, I wasn't the host for this one. We have our guest host, Mrs. C. All right, she's actually a co-host, and to be fair, sometimes I give her trouble, but she does do this rather well. Has a different energy. I'll call it fresh energy because hosting Nollywood discussions for week on week can take a toll on you. I'm not making any excuses. I'm still the goat. Anyway. We do discuss this movie. If you want to call it that. I think this is one of the movies where I don't recall any film where we've just been so in agreement. The pushback section isn't really as it seems. It feels like an extended bad section, and sometimes the pushback section is just a different flavor of is somebody challenging different flavor of bad. So this is just one of those rarity where we just I think almost everybody is on the same page for this one. And judging from my tone, you can probably tell how a lot of us took this. Anyway, I'm very interested in this one's NFC score, which you can know if you follow us on Twitter. All right. Without further ado, I do hope you enjoy Nollywood Film Club discussing Orisha.
All right. Hi everyone. Welcome to Nollywood Film Club. I don't know how Mr. C does this intro.
Yeah, you should introduce yourself as well.
Okay. Hi.
Mrs. C.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's go again. Hi everyone. Welcome to Nollywood Film Club. I'm Mrs. C. We discuss Nollywood films or topics every Sunday, 6 p.m. What? Stop shaking your head. And this week we are discussing Orisha. It's Shaba, not Orisha.
Don't know.
Okay. This man is here drinking my coffee because he'll ask me if he made it himself. But yeah, welcome to Orisha. I'm going to kick this off by sincerely apologizing from the bottom of my heart for not screening the film before Mr. C posted it.
Wow, just
We
because
will
I'm not
not
hosting does that mean you throw me under the bus? My
you
God.
live under the bus.
All right.
That is where you
Okay.
belong.
Aside from the B-rate hosting performances going
Get
into
away,
the,
you. Look at you, the
I
host.
do.
I will mute
No, no.
you.
I just want to say that I have not. This film was on. It was on, and I was there behind it. But I don't think I can say I was paying attention. I wasn't pressing my phone, nothing like that. I just tuned out after like 15 minutes, maybe a little bit before that, to be honest. So, I mean, I think I know the general gist of this story, but so I'm saying this right off the top. So, um, you can take that, you can do that with that what you will in terms of how you gauge
It's
my opinion.
Mr. C. It's okay. Everybody knows you're illiterate, so subtitles they had you small.
Okay.
Uh,
Subtitle thing.
Anywho, let us kick this off with Otaz. Tell us, managed to find something you liked about
Sorry,
Orisha.
I don't know if you heard me earlier. I said I wanted to go last, if that's.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you
All
kindly.
right, all right. We can move you. We can move you. Uche, what did you like about Orisha?
Okay, I don't have a ton to say about this, to be honest. At first, I wasn't even sure I was going to watch the movie, and I thought that I was going to just sit this particular session out. But this morning, I decided to just give it a try, and I watched about a third of it. So I haven't seen the whole movie. I will say, for what I saw, um, I liked some of the. I don't want to say the cinematography. Like, I mean, some of the shots were good. Some of the night shooting, some of the night shots were kind of good looking. There's one in particular that stands out to me, where some maidens are walking through the forest with calabashes on their head, and they're silhouetted against the dusk sky. It looks so much like something that Roger Deakins would have shot. In fact, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that um, the cinematographer for this movie could have been directly inspired by a particular famous shot from the movie Sicario. that Roger Deakins shot. So I liked some of the shots in it, but I don't want to say that I like the cinematography in the movie, because I don't believe that cinematography should be evaluated through random isolated shots. That's not cinematography, that's photography, which is completely different. Cinematography is about trying to maintain a consistent mood throughout the movie, and this movie does not do that. Um, most of the daytime shots, exterior shots, look like they could have come from 1995. Story wise, okay, well, that takes us into what I didn't like. That is what I liked. That's all I'll say.
All right, thanks, Uchenna. Mr. C is punching the air because he stole his points. But thank you. Cynthia, tell us what you liked about Orisha.
Well, just like Mr. C, I watched, oh, even, what should I say, watched 30 minutes? Yeah. Anyway, so I watched halfway and I started playing it this morning as white noise. But the only thing I like is the two queens. I felt they looked beautiful, or they are beautiful women. Yeah, I mean, they're beautiful women in the whole movie. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But those are the I don't even know what I'm saying. Sorry, let me start again. My only like are the two queens that play Shafi Bello and the other woman that played the queen in the room in the movie. I just felt they looked so beautiful doing their queenship. And yeah, that's all. Like I've not also finished the movie. I'm still playing it as white noise. I couldn't go past 15 minutes last night. So it's still playing. But like from everything I've seen, I just felt the queens looked really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Yes, the queens were very beautiful. Shafi is a queen all day, every day. Think Muyi tweeted, I only liked that it had Binta Ayo Mogaji. Who's that?
Don't ask me anything about this film. I don't know.
Sorry. Yeah. Does anyone know who Binta played? Anywho, all right, I'll find out.
I've not even done any data.
That's why I was asking you, because I thought you'd done Nolly data. You know what? I've decided the space can be as chaotic as the film. Wayne's rants. Wayne, tell us, what did you like about Orisha?
Hi. So what I liked about Orisha, hopefully my internet is not acting up. Funny enough, this is normally what we use to escape this is we do that. It had beautiful people. Um, I don't know. Yes, like you said, Shafi Bilo, but I don't think it has enough. Let me not even go there. Anyways, what I liked about it, there's this scene when Komo Komo attacks the village, and there's this dog in the scene, and there's complete chaos. Everybody's running helter skelter. Um, like people are falling over themselves, and the dog is like stationary. It doesn't move. It still is not wagging. It's just there. And I don't know. That was just. I don't think I've ever seen something like that. Like dogs get excited by the most little things, and how they got that. I don't know if it's. I don't even think it's intentional, but how that happened is shocking. Also, I like that. Also, there's something about cinematography that I liked. Like Uche said, I don't think the cinematography of this film is great, but I could see that they tried to do cinematography. Like there were shots that you saw that you were like, okay, so this thought was well thought out. This shot was well thought out, and they like really blocked this scene and all of that. Yeah, that's what I like.
All right, thank you, Wayne.
Guys are moving too
Somewhat.
fast. I was expecting that this would go on longer.
Why?
I
Why
don't
we?
know. It's funny because I was just trying to finish the last 30 minutes of this movie, but now that I've heard all of this, clearly I shouldn't bother and I will speak whenever you guys are ready.
All right, in that case, you go. Tell us.
Oh man. Um yeah, so I was struggling and I didn't know, but anyways, as far as I've seen, I've watched about an hour, I don't know, hour 10ish. Um I and so there's some humor kind of imbibed in this that isn't entirely terrible. Giving, I don't know, it's handling a dark subject, but the humor wasn't entirely unwelcome. I really like Shafi. I think that because she's been in a lot of things where she's been playing the same person with the forced American accent, bad guy, drug dealer, whatever it is she's been doing with her interesting fashions. It was nice to sort of see her here in a more natural feeling, relaxed role for her. Um, and then I enjoy some of the interactions with the wives. They don't seem, they're not entirely terrible. I don't mind the color of this. I find it nice and like sharp. It was very easy to follow with the colors. Everybody looked like a nice color, not orange. So that was great. Um Odunlade is okay. He's a Odunlade. He offers his performance is pretty normal. But that's mostly it for me. Daffy
No, you've
Bello.
done really well.
Yeah.
You've done really yes, thank you. That was very well done. A strange time when Otat is one of the longest speakers in the
You're
good.
welcome.
Oyin Khan, do you want to tell us what you liked about?
Yes, I just like to make a precaution. I watched, I think, about an hour of this movie. I think about not up to an hour. It's not actually up to an hour. And the last 15 minutes, I think I was fast forwarding. So, just precaution. I'm not the best judge of this movie because I gave up very, very quickly. Not very quickly. I actually stayed a little bit. So, what I liked about it, okay, I like the first scene, right? I like the rhyming, the this. Um, there is a qualification in the first scene. There is an issue that I had a little bit with the first scene, but I like the callback and that it's wonderful. It's a picture of Yoruba, and I liked it. It was also very easy for me to understand very quickly because, and that's one of the qualifications that I will come back to. Very easy. It's almost like they were like a modern day Nigeria. So quickly. The way the language that they were using, everything, I was just like, wow, this is just like Lagos or just you're in Ibadan or something. I didn't need the subtitles for this to. I didn't need subtitles to push my understanding of Yoruba. I understand Yoruba, more Yoruba dada, but I need I needed it. So I was just like, oh, this is cool. This is different for an epic. Um, what else? I you know how like in Zack Snyder really likes to use what's it called? Slow motion. And like for a certain frame of the frame, it just the image in the frame just looks beautiful. It's wonderful. That frame, they really play it really pays attention to it. It just likes to get like the movie has that. This movie has that, and that those at those points in time, it was wonderful, colorful, beautiful. Um, I and in some of those frames and those shots, the color was popping. The color of the Ashoki was popping, and it was nice. Yes, like it was just so obvious that that type of Ashoki is a more modern day or Ashoki, and like maybe they color graded it to make the color pop a lot. And yeah, does the Ashoki look like it's not necessarily the most expensive type of Ashoki? Yes, but it was amazing. I Yeah, there was sometimes some performances I liked. When it started getting to the come on, Adebayo's area, liked it. They were using a lot of like, okay, now I kind of needed a little bit of subtitling. Actually, no, I still understand what they were saying, but it was nice. There was this one scene where this is the scene where I actually stopped. and actually it was funny, and I liked it. Where like um come on comes to Balogun. Balogun is not there. And Balogun comes, there's the next scene, Balogun starts to do the chanting. And then the wife is like, do you know what's going on? Why are they fighting? And then the guards are like, we also don't know. We thought you were going to tell us. And they start shooting anyhow. And the wife is just like, why are you always shooting? Why are you shooting guns anyhow? Like, it was like he was to salute you, and the wife was like, better get out of here. Like, kind of like, what do you mean you just salute me or something like that. I thought that was hilarious because they've been shooting gun out of nowhere all the time since the beginning of this thing. And I'm just like, yes, thank you for calling it out. It's so funny. Like, why do you just randomly shooting? Um, I understand this is a movie, but like guns were expensive back then, even in Europe. Why are you just shooting bullets anyhow? But I mean, bullets. Bullets were expensive back then. Like, what are you talking about? Guns were expensive back then too. Um, so yeah, I like the shots. I like the idea that they wanted to shoot a epic movie. They tried. They put some money into it. Now, may I say that that's going to the next something. But congratulations on doing the movie. That's a feat because it's not easy to shoot a movie, so that's a good thing.
All right, thanks, Oyinka. And it seems you took your usual advice. It's just a movie. Put it on. If you don't like it, turn it off. Um,
Exactly.
exactly. Valid advice as always. All right, thanks, Oyinka. Onyi, do you want to tell us what you liked about Orisha? Or also just anyone who wants to share a thought. If you don't want to come up and speak, feel free to tweet. You can respond under the space, or you can tweet using hashtag Nollywood Film Club, or you can DM. All right, Onyi, tell us what you liked.
Okay, so I joined late, but is Mrs. C hosting today? Oh God, we got another one. I'm so excited. Um, what I liked about this movie, well, but I think the first thing, I think it had a strong start. I liked the way it started, and I think um it went straight to the point for the first 5 minutes. And that first 5 minutes sort of made me expect um, a well paced and well synthesized story. And it sort of got my attention. So I'll give it that. Um, I like the lesson of how past decisions, have repercussions with time. I think that's something that we all learn as adults. And the whole thing of pride coming before a fall. I like that they try to sort of tie things together with a lesson or whatnot. As for the performances, I think I appreciate that they were enthusiastic. Um, Odunlani, I think that's his name. There was a physicality in his performance that only lasted like 15 minutes during the first 15 minutes of the movie that I appreciated, like the way he embodied this mad king. I, I mean, didn't last long, but when it did, I think when he was sort of focused on it, I sort of got where he was going, and I liked what he did with the character in the beginning. Shafi Bello had a moment when she was accused of bringing the curse on Adefolarin that I thought was that kind of took my breath away for a moment there. And I'll get to the bad of this later on, but it sort of, anyways, I really appreciated that moment is what I will say for now. I actually kind of like that this movie, so a lot of my good has another side in the bad, but I like that this movie embraced the dramatic. Um, and it sort of leaned into a tone to a fault, which I will get to in the bad. But there was the fight scene at the end, like the final confrontation scene. I don't know what the intention was with that scene, but I found it very entertaining. I don't think it entertained me in the way it was intended to, but it definitely entertained me. I will say that. Um, yeah, but overall, I appreciate what the story that this movie was trying to tell, the lesson that it was trying to convey. I really appreciate that. Um, and I guess it was entertaining. I will say it definitely entertained me. There were moments when, ugh, okay, I'm not gonna get into that, but there were moments when it definitely entertained me, and I think that is noteworthy at the very least.
All
Thank you.
right. Thanks, Oyin. Maybe when we get to the pushback section, you're gonna expand on the lesson this film was trying to teach. But
Oh God. I was really trying to like find something out of this, so I guess I guess I have to do that now.
things well done. All right, Alana, you are up. What did you like about Orisha?
Okay, thank you. I think the first thing I liked about it was that the outfits looked really nice. I like the clothes; they were very colorful, beautiful gowns everywhere. Then whatever it is, Femi Adebayo and his guards or whatever had going was funny. It was actually really funny. I like that they had. You could tell they were going for some form of literary angle with the let's say with the whole when one person would speak and then they would just start saying something about the house falling down, that if he shouts the house will fall down. Like I liked whatever they had going there. So I think those are the main things I liked about it. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, Alana, thank you. I think they call that call and response, right? Does that make sense?
It's supposed to be poetry. The poetry of Yoruba and the call of response and the Oriki and all that stuff. They didn't even do
Yeah,
that well. They didn't do that well, but that's for the bad.
but
Wait.
they attempted it, and that was entertaining for Alana. Thanks for clarifying the income, Mr. C. From the parts that you did watch.
I watched everything. I just didn't take anything at all. Um, uh, yeah, so like it's actually kind of interesting hearing people just admit that they did not finish. And it's one thing for an NFC member to tell you we did not finish your film because, yeah,
We're a
because
resilient bunch in here.
again, uh, again, I haven't. Well, anyway, the things I liked, which and I already said the stuff, and actually that mixed with Wayne's Rams, with some of the things, it's actually amazing. I don't know how. I don't know how Pearl managed to get as many goods in her reviews, and
And to get up to 4 out of 10.
even yeah, even
Talk to you, collect bribe.
even Otas, yeah, I the only thing I had on my list was the shots. That's it for me.
So I not collect my phone to waffle.
Well, that's my good. Yeah, and when I actually said the other part of the shot, I was going to say where somebody actually composed some things. So it almost felt like um, I would not, if somebody had told me some of these things were storyboarded, I some of the shots were storyboarded, I would believe. So yeah, that's the one for me. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. C. My goods, what did I like? I like that this was under 2 hours. Could have been shorter, but I like that it was under 2 hours. Um, there are a few things that I want to say typically I would like that it did, but because the film was annoying me, it wasn't as much I like. But like, that their last fight where they're fighting with the chants and all of that stuff, I always find that I typically tend to enjoy stuff like that just because it's very cultural. It's very different. I don't like when we're doing like cultural epic films and we're fighting like fighting boxing. We're doing kickboxing and all that non-traditional stuff. So I liked I thought that was interesting. I think someone mentioned the scene where Shafi Bello was being accused of causing the illness. I did like that as well. I thought that was I think that was probably Odunlade's best acting in the film. It really was nice to see Shafi doing something different from the sexy cougar with her American accent and very, classed speaking. It was nice to see. It was nice to have a change of pace for her. Um, there were some comedic scenes. I think when Komo Komo was telling Balogo and the king that he accidentally killed him, like while I was cautioning him, I accidentally killed him, and like both their staffs or fans or the stuff they had, the way they just dropped immediately and how they bent down to pick them up. I thought that was funny. That did crack me up. Um, and I think that is everything I liked about Orisha. So let's move on to the bad. Otas, do you want to retain your original position or do you want to be moved a little later? Because you did come first.
Yeah, I'm fine with staying where I was, whether fourth or fifth earlier.
All right, in that case, Jenna, you have the distinct pleasure of kicking off the bad section. What did you not like about Orisha?
Okay, I'm not gonna say that the stuff I liked was necessarily bad. I'll just say it's stuff that I don't like because I'll admit that I tend to struggle when it comes to Nollywood so-called epics. I don't really like them. I don't know. There's just not an access point for them. For a lot of times, I just don't really. I don't relate to that world, and I feel weird saying that because I don't have to relate directly to any movie or any story that I'm experiencing. But I feel that the world building in Nollywood epics is not really good most of the time, and sometimes it seems as if the setting is the story in itself and the characters aren't built up. And that's the problem I had with this. Like, I just couldn't care about any of the characters. There's all this hubbub about the king is mad. And I'm like, okay, so what? I don't care. I don't. There's nothing that I've learned about this king as a human being that makes me care about him. I mean, I'm supposed to just care about the fact that the king himself is mad, that the king as an institution has been racked by this insanity. And I don't know if it's because I am personally ideologically I'm an anti-monarchist, or if it's because I'm Igbo and we don't really believe in kings. I just don't care about any of that stuff. I mean, aesthetically, I mean, in terms of a story, it just isn't enough for me. So there wasn't anything for me to grab onto, and I just wish that there were better characters. I just wish there was more. I wish I felt more stakes from it. And again, I say that that's all about me. It's not about the movie itself, because there are people who enjoy this kind of thing. I'm just not one of them. So also, it just felt a lot of these epics feel so stagey to me. And there's nothing wrong with that, doing a particularly theatrical style. But I don't know. I don't know how well that works in a long form narrative for me. It feels like Tales by Moonlight, and I could watch it for 15 or 30 minutes, but for 2 hours I just think I need more grit. i need more I need more substance. I need more characterization. I need more world building. Everything just felt very two-dimensional to me, and that's why I just couldn't even I just couldn't hold on to it. That might be me though.
All right, thanks, Uchenna. Bringing back an old classic of, well, the film is not for me. Could be for other people. I like to see that we are consistent. Thanks, Uchenna. I think I am with you on it could have been a Tales by Moonlight. But yeah, let's move on to Cynthia. Cynthia, from the hour that you watched, what did you not like about Orisha?
Well, Uchenna said everything, to be honest. When the movie started, what did it even start with? What did it start with? Oh yeah, the king being mad. Was it a cat that came to him and he started going mad? And people were like, "Oh, the king has disappeared." I mean, the guards were just standing there and they watched the king disappear, and they made it a chaos issue. Oh, the king have disappeared. Then we start seeing people coming in and going out, coming in and going out. Like Uchenna said, there was no characterization. There was nothing for me to hold on to. Who is the king? Why should I care? Okay? It just felt like Odunlade wanted to be a king in a movie. and he produced or wrote the movie or something and be like, okay, I'm going to be a king. I'm going to cast my friends. Because at some point it felt like the director was saying, Ace, come here, you do your own, Ace, go. Ace, come here, you do your own, Ace, go. Like there was nothing to hold on to. Who is the king? We saw Arrow what is it Arrow Fashe or Balogun? I don't know, dancing. Who is he? Why should I care? We saw the queens. I think the queens had children. I don't know. We saw some chief priest or some chief title men in the palace. Who are there? Why should I care? I'm like 30 minutes into this movie and I don't know anybody except the king is bad. Why should I care? The king is mad, and so what? And it's crazy because you could do something like that, and your mind is thinking of reasons why the king is mad. Okay, like people shoot movies and they put you in a suspense. You're thinking of reasons why the king is mad, but this one is we're giving nothing, absolutely nothing. We're just going to just keep watching and seeing the king mad, and you can't even think of any reason why the king is mad. You're just there watching, and we're supposed to connect to something. Like the fact that there was no characterization of anybody. I'm not even talking about character motivation. Like I don't even think there's a character. We're just watching something in plain sight. Come and go, come and go. So the fact that it didn't feel like there's character or there's anything took me out of the movie, honestly. Like we got to Komo Komo and it took more than an hour for us to even know something about anybody in this movie, to be honest. It took more than an hour for us to know, oh, Komo Komo is someone that visited the village. Oh, the king was actually is a rapist or something. But yeah, I don't know, man. The fact that there was no character in this movie was really, really like out of it. Like I was telling someone that motive is better. I mean, we all laugh at the motive movie 2 years ago. We all laugh at Namaste Wahala, but Namaste Wahala, there's character. And we can't forget, even if the performance is bad, you could like tell each character and their backgrounds or something about them. But this movie, we're just here watching something and 1 hour plus, we don't know anything. I don't know, man. So yeah, I don't know. The whole no characterization was just it for me. And at the ending, they tried to do something. Oh, he's a rapist, and the witches are now standing beside Komo Komo, who was actually raping women too. So what are you doing? So yeah, I don't know, man. So I don't think it's an epic something. I just think not having character and making us think that because a king is mad, we should care about the movie without even having any background information of anybody was just what was awful. And yeah, and was my serious bad. Reason why I could not connect, reason why I could not finish, reason why I gave up. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you, Cynthia. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Komo agreed to go to their anniversary, and that's why they stood by him despite the rapes. Who knows? But yeah, I sorry, but yeah, thanks, Cynthia. I am sort of with you on the on the lack of characters. That was made things a little difficult. Um, if you want to send in your bads and you don't want to speak, you can tweet it, comment under the space, or you can send a DM. Mui said Odunlade acting, writing question mark and directing is never a good idea. It was given Kanipe, I am the actor and you are the boss. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's time to abolish auteurs. Do we count this as auteur work?
This is auto work.
This is auteur work. It's time to abolish auteurs. But yeah,
It's not.
no. You know what? It's a very good way to star in a movie. I was thinking is direct. But yeah, no. Let's not let one person do all of this. Not right now. It's not. Yeah. Anywho, let's move on to Wayne. Oh, Wayne, are you on? It's showing me as a request, but then I can't accept it. She has already accepted. All right. While I try to sort Wayne out. Oh no, Wayne, you're on. Do you want to tell us what you did not like about Orisha? Okay, I don't know if something's wrong with Wayne's network, But Otas, over to you now.
All right. Um, Still watching this, making progress. And honestly, the plot has dragged quite a bit. There is a good bit of this that could have been removed, and I don't think it would have significantly affected anything happening in this movie. I hate the costuming. I do know some of the astrocade bits that were mentioned earlier as far as like the vibrancy and how they looked. But in general, a lot of it just felt very costumey. Um, the like everything about it, even the tribal marks. The tribal marks looks ridiculous. Um, and oh my god, the purple fur. I hate so much when Nigerian movies do period pieces and they have all this colorful fur lying about. Like, where would they have found purple fur? It annoys me. It's such a small thing, but every single time, like, it irritates me. It's just the most ridiculous, easy costuming. To that that they could have avoided. But yeah, it just doesn't have any depth. Someone has mentioned, I think, the China. I don't understand any of the motivation or if there's really any the story itself. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But maybe when I finish it, it will. And then, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Also, some of the graphics in this are very bad. I didn't know when this movie came out, but it's not great. It's just not working on any level, really.
It came out Barbenheimer weekend.
What?
It came out Barbenheimer weekend.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, carry on. You were just saying you don't know when the movie came out, so I was supplying that.
Yeah, no. Just the graphics in it, the CGI in it, just is. If it came out last year, is not. It's very bad.
Is that all your bands, Ataz?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. It seems Wayne is back. Wayne, do you want to tell us what you did not like about this film? All right, I'm going to move to Oyinkan because it seems I'm having a bit of trouble with Wayne. Oyinkan, do you want to tell us what you did not like about Orisa?
Yes, so I'm an honest person, and I have to say, right now I think I'm the resident Yoruba person yet. I have a lot to say in the very few attention minutes. Well, it's not few, it's almost ending an hour attention movie that I gave to this movie. And first question, why is this movie called Deity? I have a lot. I have a lot to say. Come on, give me. Why is this movie called Deity? What deity is this man? Deity Orisha means a god. Even has this king done enough to become even a god? If this king is not Shango, what is going on here? Okay, let's say indeed this is a fantasy, because there are two different types of epics, right? There's a fantasy, high fantasy historical epic, and the actual history epic. The actual history epic, the one chanted, they actually use weapons and guns and everything. Like, what is the importance? I'm going to put this in fantasy, but like, what is the story going on here? Why didn't you tell me? Okay, this guy, the first thing we see is that the king is being challenged by a bunch of witches. Why? Did he go too big for his britches? Why is this movie called a deity? What is this king? This king is not even a deity. Okay, if you want to go into Yoruba history, like, what's it called? There's a guy named Basorun in Yoruba history. He was a prime minister that killed four kings because he took power and the kings weren't doing what he wants to do. Okay, go into something like that. Even the Yoruba that they were using, this is the reason why I say this is an auteur movie indeed. This is Odunlade's movie because Odunlade normally does this type of movies, but they are set in modern day Nigeria. They're like in Yoruba something where it's just insulting people and doing all the other type of things that like make sense. But that makes more sense with that type of like setting than this. The type of Yoruba that they first open with this thing, right? Oh my gosh. I was like, are we in like downtown Lagos or what? Because it's bad. It's bad. The only thing that they do in this Yoruba something is chanting. Oriki coming out of nowhere. Okay, the chanting is very, very something. If you compare the like poetical Yoruba something that they did in this to the Yoruba that you hear in Ajeshukole or in Jago Jago, completely different things. There is even the old way that they are using it's a way to insult people. It's a basic all that if you guys every like it's just a basic one of those YouTube Yoruba movies. Except now they wasted their money because it's always more expensive to do an historical drama. No matter where in the world, it's always more expensive to do an historical drama. It requires more money. If you wanted to do a YouTube Yoruba movie, and even Odunlade Adekola has done better YouTube Yoruba movies that actually have story, you know, they like for an hour we're just watching the king. Many different types of the king is mad. Many different scenes of the king is mad. The king is mad. Okay, the king is mad. I get it. Sometimes a mad king is important. It's never really been important. Do you know how many mad kings are there throughout history, all over the world? But okay, it's important for like the powerful and the rich to get power and other things and control. But for the typical everyday people, whoever is in charge, who fucking cares? It's still the same thing for us. Eh? Okay, you want to use it. I get. Okay, I get how they are trying to show different how the king's madness affects the ruling of the town. Eh, now Adeshukule is coming, people are taking something, the king is too mad. But you know one thing in the first damn place, kings do not actually undo that administration of the of town and things. Kings don't actually do administration like that. They don't actually. There are other people. We have chiefs. What are the chiefs doing? I just call it somebody. That's Balogun's job. Balogun, you're supposed to protect the something. You don't need a mad king. You do. How many kings have been mad in this history where the towns still continue? But this is a story. I get it. You're not supposed to like capture reality. This is a story, but the variation of how many scenes of the king is mad that keeps on going is so damn annoying. And now I'm just like, you have wasted money. And clearly you don't have enough money. Because I'm looking at the costume, and the costume is very, very modern. It's very, very modern. In what world? Like, compare the costuming of this to the costuming of Ajeshikule, and even Jago Jago. Jago Jago obviously had modern costuming. Or even compare that to even other Yoruba epics. And this is not an epic. I'm so sorry. What is this? This is basically a Yoruba YouTube movie set in modern day, but dressed up to be in an historical period. And it's badly done. You're not Adebayo. You're not. Maybe where Odunlade's graphs of it is to be just to be certain things in modern day. Because we can forgive a lot of his what's it called? A lot of his the things that typically happens in his movies where they just repeat the insult and repeat the story and kind of the repetition. This one is much worse. It's so much more obvious because it doesn't exactly fit very much more in like Nigerian epics, in this type of Yoruba epics, because we've seen other people do it and we've seen it done better, and it's just so much more glaring. Or maybe just this one, it became more glaring to me. I don't know. I always it is an auteur movie because this is you can definitely see if you've watched his other movies, you can definitely see that this is the things that he does, and it's just so much annoying. It's so annoying Because one, there's no reason for this movie to be called Orisha. Where's the Orisha? Did you become an Orisha? Did you do epic things to become an Orisha like Shango did? Shango was a real king and Shango became an Orisha, right? Or it's complicated. Yes, Shango was it's complicated. But this king has not done anything. This is the other thing about like doing historical dramas or historical thing. I just because you're Yoruba or you're Nigerian or something doesn't mean you understand or you've studied or you understand like the rules that something. Even if you want to break the rules, you have to first of all understand the rules. Doesn't mean you understand that. Doesn't mean this is absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Well,
Okay, Oinka. I mean, I can see that this stressed you out. But also thanks for some little bit of a Yoruba lesson. I think they called it Orisha because he he got cursed because he thought he was an Orisha, or he acted like he was an Orisha and he thought he was higher than the deities. At least that's what they were going for. But yeah, that's that. I think that was kind of the idea. But yeah, thanks Oyinka. Con, apologies. Thanks Oyinka. Wayne, can you hear
Shirley,
me?
but can you hear me also?
Yes, I can
Nice.
hear you.
We are
Amazing.
good to go. First of all, I would like to take reservations to what Oyinka said, because she said she's the resident Yoruba person here. My name is Ayomide, so I run these streets also. Also, if Oyinka is trying to respond, somehow I can no longer hear Oyinka. So yeah, sorry. Um, but to the things that I didn't like in the film, I think the biggest issue with the film is that it is not a film. I know Uchena was trying to um to scare away from saying that, maybe, and maybe because it may come across as maybe tribalistic because he's Igbo, and like majority of like epics are Yoruba epics that we've seen, um, especially. But I'm both. I'm Igbo and Yoruba, so I can say with my chest, it is not a film. And that's the biggest problem with it. This is a stage play. Um, and I just want to use two examples. I know we don't like using like examples from like Hollywood or other things, but I've seen two films that come to my head like this. One is Tick Tick Boom. Tick Tick Boom is basically like a stage play. So what they did essentially was they made a film out of a stage play, and but it is a film, even though there are a lot of like theatrical elements to it, and you can see that it's derived from a stage play. It's a film because film and theater are two different art forms, and they have different ways of telling stories and different elements that they employ. You can't just take one element and it doesn't become a film because you have an Alexa camera shooting it, or because you shoot it in 16 by 9. Like that does sorry, my English is going crazy, but that's not what makes it a film. What makes it a film is a lot of other things. So that's the big issue with it. It's not a film. And that's why um and that example is like Hamilton. Like you can watch Hamilton on your device, because like it's available I think on Disney, but you know it's stage play. And if that's what you wanted to do, if you wanted to do a stage play but make it available for people all around the world to do, you could have done that. But making just doing a film but writing a theatrical drama is crazy. That whole call and response vibe only works on stage. Like I was getting so like I was like, shut up, guys. Like the guy would talk and then everybody would respond. And then maybe if it happened like the first time or the second time and the third time, but it was like every literal scene, he would say something, they would shout, someone else would say something, everybody's just shouting. And like okay, let me list it out. It's overtly theatrical. There's this call and response thing. Um, the acting and like the acting is so like over the top. You get, but it's because that's how you do it when you're on stage. There are so many characters when you do stage plays. Like you will have like maybe like this market scene, and then because I've worked with drama teams, and I've written for stage. You have like market woman one, and market woman one will say, leave me alone, and market woman two will say something, and we are on stage plays, we have these so many characters that have like one liners or two liners, and they don't really matter because it's stage. But here we have so many of that. We have this whole sequence where there is this dancer with his twerking ladies and a twerking man, and they go there and they're twerking on this other guy, but that other guy has a wife, but that other guy also has a second wife, so he won't allow him bring his third. It's like, why? What? Um, so it's like there's so many characters, but like it's still embedded in that it's not a stage play. I'm sorry, it's not a film. Um, I hope my time is hasn't run out, because I'll just say like two more things, and then I'll stop shouting at you guys. Um, what
Okay, good.
like there is no story in this. It starts out, and for the first 40, 50, 60 minutes, nothing is going on. It's just a sequence of events. King is mad, and then we see Balogun living his life. We see Komo living his life. Everybody just living their life, and then it's like there's no story. Even if you ask somebody at the end, I mean, because they try and like do that thing at the end where they kind of like try to force tie the story in, and it's like, oh yeah, this story people knew each other. But even that thing doesn't make sense. Why is Balogun important? This guy was trying to take over the city that he got. But Balogun and the king were not receptive to his idea. So why was keeping Balogun alive? Why was that a thing? Why was, I've killed my witness? The witness wasn't going to. It didn't matter if everybody witnessed it. The king wasn't going to relinquish his place because there was there's no story. Um, Last thing, why did it matter that the king was mad? I think Oyinkon said it, but before I got cut off, why did it matter? The king is mad, so Komo is now taking people in the town. The people in the town, or the all the there and all the hunters and everybody, they just don't know how to kill. They don't know how to fight for themselves. You are kidnapping my children and my wives and the men, and you're raping them. But like, because the king is mad, I can't do anything anymore. It, I don't know. Honestly, Wenko was really spirited in her response, but it's bad on so many levels, right? I hope other people can say the things that I forgot. Yeah, so
All right. Thank you, Wayne. I'm not sure you forgot anything, but let's see if anyone has anything else to add. And yeah, Wayne, there's room for multiple Yoruba people on this space. It's okay. Oyi, do you want to tell us what you did not like about Orisha?
Yes. Okay. I'm actually really glad that Wayne's rant and Recon spoke, because there were certain things that I was gaslighting myself for. I was like, is it me? Why am I so out of my element? Like, why don't I understand what's happening? Because the world building, for one, as Uchenna mentioned, was just, I don't think there was any. There was no clear system of government, and it was hard to understand why a lot of things were happening the way they would happen. Like, why would Koma come in as a visitor and be able to make such like some sort of contract with the king, because of something, an errand that he kind of took too far. And when he's able to come back in and start kidnapping people and take them as slaves, why is that allowed to happen? Is the king, does the king have nobody that is head of security? Is there no fallback or succession? Like, nobody controls anything because the king is mad right now, and his elders are just sitting around his foot, and everything is basically going to fall to shambles. So it was just a mess. The storytelling was chaotic. There were quite a few time jumps that I realized in retrospect, like, oh, this is a time jump. And they were poorly handled. And before the time jump would happen, the story would go for circles and circles and circles on one particular thing. I remember there being so many scenes about, we can't talk about the fact that the king is mad. Okay, we've gone over that. Can we move on? Um, The story was, I think this movie was trying to be a plot driven story, but because the story was so poorly developed, it just completely destroyed it. Like, that is the worst thing that should happen if you're trying to be a plot driven story. On top of the plot dragging, the moments when they were trying to hit a point, they sort of like, there was just so much going on, you didn't know what you were supposed to be paying attention to. And that takes me to the second thing I didn't like outside of the story being chaotic. I mentioned that the performances were enthusiastic because I really wanted to give the very messy, poorly directing, poorly directed acting something. I just wanted to give the actors something, because why is everybody shouting all the time? I think that's something that Wayne said. There was no tone control. It felt like everyone wanted to be noticed. I felt like everybody was doing something. There was just so much happening, and nobody understood why they were doing what they were doing. And then the characterization. Who are we rooting for? Whose perspective is primary? At first, I thought it was the king's, but then with everything that happened, his character arc wasn't satisfying. I just didn't care. I didn't care about anybody. I didn't care about Balogun. I didn't care when they beheaded him. I didn't care about Koma Koma. I didn't care about the king. And then when they brought in the thing with the queen, I have to sadly say that we could have done without Shafi Bello's character, because, and I think that has to do with how her character was written. They wanted to do something with a lesson, and I like the lesson that they were trying to say, that they were trying to convey, but it wasn't well supported by the story. And I didn't understand why the witches let him go. Like, why did the queen actually have that ability to intercede on his behalf? Like, I didn't get that at all. And I think someone mentioned the costuming. This is another area where I was like, why do I hate this so much? Like, why is the blood strawberry lemonade? And why are they spending so much time telling us that this is blood when I can't see anything? And then the fabric was just inconsistent. I'm like, what are they doing? There was this cape that Komo Komo was wearing in the final scene. The thing with the four, I think what has mentioned it. I was just like, this is so ugly. This doesn't look right. This is just poorly put together. Why are we doing this? The special effects were shoddy. So I think this movie visually had some good things going on. In the beginning, like, I think there were some good shots, but because there was just so much going on, there were so many distracting elements. There was no cohesion in the storytelling. There were just so many loose ends. You could see sometimes that they were trying to do something, but they didn't end up doing anything with it. The story just fell through in the worst way. It was really a mess, and it just did a disservice to, I think, the very ambitious lesson that they were trying to convey in the end. So I will say I didn't know that this movie was being directed and by Odunlade, because I essentially didn't look into it. But now I guess it makes sense. And I don't know if there is ever a movie where the main actor is also directing that I have liked. I just think that needs to become illegal. Like, people need to stop doing that. I don't know if it's an ego thing, but people need to stop doing that, because you did such a disservice to a story that, I guess, I don't know if it could have been great. I don't even know what the potential was, because I don't know where they were going with this. I know the lesson was good, but from the plot, it doesn't seem redeemable in any way. So I actually finished it. I'm proud of myself for that. I
Oh,
finished it over the course of 2 days, but uh, I finished it.
well, I know you're a trooper.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you. Olana, do you want to tell us what you did not like about Orisha?
Yes, this is my best part. What I did not like. First of all, the first 15 minutes of the movie, I kept wondering, what is going on here? And then the next 15 minutes, I continued to wonder, seriously, what is going on here? Because the only thing I grasped at first was, okay, clearly this guy is maybe trying to overthrow the deities or something, and they called him in to ask him why are you trying to act greater than the gods and whatever. So I don't know if they cursed him his madness and then he started running mad, but every single time I've kept wondering what is going on, because it felt like they were showing different scenes from different productions and they were just merging it. There was no chronology, there was no order. And there was no reason for me to be invested in this Oba and his madness, because give me something. I like when you give me a character that I can either really hate or really love. And this character, I felt nothing, because I didn't even know who he was. Like, who exactly is this king? How did he offend the gods? And what was the thing with whenever he carried a machete, they would be like, he would remember his mother. What was the mother thing? Like, I barely understood anything that was going on in the about 1 hour that I watched it. So everything was just chaotic. A lot of things were going on. I don't know much about the FX thing. I don't know if it was effective. It just sometimes it just looked, the whole red eye thing when he woke up. I don't know, it looked odd. So there was just a lot of odd things going on. There was no character development, there was no background, there was barely anything. And then the weird random command, what's his name? The Femi Adebayo's character. I didn't even understand what was going on there, what was going on with the Balogun guy, and why he just did not like he did not care that the Oba was mad at first, because why are you the Balogun if you don't care? And why is the entire community getting kidnapped and killed because one person is mad? Like, it just didn't make sense, the entire thing. So yeah, that was what I didn't like, that it didn't make sense, and I didn't like that the character was just left me feeling neutral. Like, I just didn't like anything of that sort. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Olana. I think later on, you can get an idea of why Balogo doesn't care about the king. Because I think he was the one that had to clean up all his rapey messes. But yeah, it still just makes no sense that Balogo didn't care that Komo was kidnapping the village. That just, yeah. Yeah, that made no sense. Mary, you weren't around for the good, so if you have any goods to say as well, or you just want to say you're bad, or if you want to do both, just tell us your thoughts on Orisha.
I don't know what to. Hi, is it my own Mary?
Yes, yes.
Oh my. I haven't seen the film yet. I just saw that it was a Nollywood review, so I came on to listen.
Okay, all right, fair enough. No worries, Mary. All right, in that case, I will ask Mr. Oh, yeah, I'll just read a bad from Uchenna. Said costumes were definitely very costumey. That played into the whole let's put on a play feeling that keeps me from immersing myself in epics in general. I do not disagree, Uche. Mr. C, take it away.
Okay, so one of the things that I don't usually mention, and I just want to start mentioning it just because, even though I will not spend any time on it, is that it doesn't make sense for me not to mention it. But sound is bad, but it's bad in a lot of our films. Um, Inconsistent grading. I don't know if anybody has mentioned that, but sometimes, yeah, in one scene it will go through like three different looks, without any rhyme or reason. Um, so something somebody mentioned about shooting a horse. I'd say I thought shooting around a horse with a baby on the floor seemed kind of irresponsible, to be honest. It seemed like my whole because like the horse actually got startled by whatever gunpowder or whatever noise it made, and I was just looking at this baby on the floor. I was like, that's not a good idea. That nothing bad came of it doesn't mean that it should be encouraged or repeated. Uh, so I think a lot of people have spoken about the start and how we just got into it without knowing why we should care about the king being cursed. And yeah, I completely agreed with that, and I'll bring this up again. It's to do with the twist and how we want to add a reveal towards the end. but like the rest of the movie needs to make sense, guys. I beg you, Nollywood, right? It's I know twists are fun and blah blah blah, but the rest of the movie still has to like not just make sense, be engaging. There's no point in saving the reason why the movie is supposed to make sense for the end if like we're just going to be like, oh, what's the point of this? Like this doesn't make any sense. Um, so without that, even with that, there's still way too much fat in the movie anyway. But the other thing I wanted to say is um, the craft needs to be respected. One of the things that sometimes you get when if you speak about Nollywood movies is you hear something like to the do your own, right? Do you know what? I respect filmmaking enough not to go and do my own as of this time. And if just because you are an actor or just because you've been acting, I don't care how many years you've been acting for, does not mean you can write, direct, and star in your own in your own production. Um, have some respect for the craft because this is quite bad. Like I've never seen a film where so many of us just couldn't complete the movie or struggled to complete the movie. This is even the case in. I was watching Pearl's review and she even said I only completed it for because I had to do the review. It's crazy. This movie is very very bad and whatever, like people are using our head to learn learn how to make films. I don't know, but like I don't, it's just I didn't even see enough of an effort to to like, oh, okay, this person is trying something maybe in a few years or something. Like this just seemed like somebody that went, yeah, filmmaking is I can do it. I can do it. And he did this and this is trash. Sorry. But yeah. All right, anyway, that's my summary. 0.5 out of 10. I'm joking. I still wouldn't rate it.
Oh God. Yeah. I yeah, I'm this was very bad. This was really bad. I stopped paying close attention. I somehow have the ability to still see what's going on even when I'm not paying that much attention. But I realized that every time I paid attention, I got annoyed. So I didn't want to annoy myself, so I stopped paying close attention. But this was very bad. I don't know that there was a script for this. um I don't know that there was a script. I don't know that somebody wrote what was going to happen, what was happening, what people had to say. I don't think there was. It doesn't seem like there was. It didn't come across like it was. I was telling Mr. C when I was watching it that this felt like drama we used to act in JS3, where we'd all get our costumes and like somebody's mom will give you wrapper and somebody, maybe you gonna go back and tell you what costume to sew and you sew it and come back out. And we don't have a script for JS3 drama. They just tell us, okay, in this scene the king is doing this, and then we just get in there and we'll act and we'll come outside, and we're all obviously amateurs and don't know what's going on. That's what it made me think of. That's what it felt like when everyone's saying, "Oh, they don't understand the characters or anything," because there are no characters. There are no characters. There's absolutely nothing there. It starts with something. It starts with, "Oh yeah, the king has run mad." And I think someone mentioned, and we just have 40 minutes of the king has run mad. Okay, and we have Balogun. He's the general. He doesn't care that people are getting kidnapped. He doesn't take any precautionary measures. He's having parties and just living his best life. Okay, why? Why? We don't know. We never know. There's no point spending time with Balogun's character because it turns out to be pointless, right? It turns out to be a waste of time, absolute waste of time. We have our we have our whole loop of we get around to, okay, the king was rapey. Okay, but he refused to go to the witch's anniversary party. We have all these reasons why they cursed him, but again, it's okay, but did they curse the village? Because at this point in time, only the villagers were having consequences, right, for all of this. But it felt like an hour, 40 minutes of nothing happening, just repeating. and repeating and repeating, the king is mad, Komo has kidnapped people, and we're going from point A to B, and the route is not making sense, right? Komo has accidentally killed this guy, in quotes, and he's like, oh, as payment for my killing, we will rule this kingdom 2 years each. And the king does nothing. The king does absolutely nothing. Nothing happens. It's just chill. Komo goes off to wait for his 2 years and comes back to start picking people. It, yeah. The more you think about it, the less it makes sense. It was, let's not do this again. And I'm just wondering how this worked out in cinema, considering the number of people that couldn't finish it while watching at home. And I'm wondering if people sat through it in cinema because, well, I've bought a ticket and I'm here, or if anyone actually left. But yeah, I would like to know that, actually. If anyone knows, let me know. But this was not good. This was not good. This was not good. I did not enjoy this. It didn't seem like there was a lot put into developing this, any story for this whatsoever. And yeah, that was very disappointing, and I am sorry we made you do this. I'm seeing a couple hands up. I'm just gonna call this the pushback section. But yeah, Oyinkan, did you want to say something? And then I will move on to Wayne.
Oh, I have been raising up my hand in ridiculousness. When you now explain that, oh, it was supposed to be against the date. Let me tell the reason why I think that this was supposed to originally just be, it works better as like one of those YouTube movies, is because witches are not deities. If we're going to put this back in history, obviously it's much, much serious there. They have much more clear views of what is and what is not, and what is that. It's kind of the thing that annoyed me with King Woman King by calling King Adeoba or Obadi. That name would not have existed back then. Names meant something back then. What are you doing? It makes no sense. Witches are not deity. Usually towns have a patron god. Why is there no definition to Ifa? Ifa is a deity. There's a definition to Ifa. No mention of that. It's just random witches. And random witches are more of a thing of modern day. Why would there be random witches? Why would ancient people think of random witches that way? They don't think of random witches that way. Are the witches working on behalf of a deity? What is the patron deity of this town? It's so ridiculous. I don't even think that Odunlade realizes something. Back in ancient Yoruba town, some things were mostly like constitutional monarchies. The king can easily be disposed, even in places where they don't have constitutional monarchies, where they have like the divine rights of king or the mandate of heaven. There was always deposing kings up and down. They weren't even mad. It was just power grabbing. This is a mad king. You in Yoruba something, literally what's it called? The prime minister will literally force the king, will literally bring what's it called? A poison. And the king and everybody knows, and the chiefs have already agreed that you are no longer good. And they will say the king, the tower has opposed you, the tower has rejected you, heaven has rejected you, and the king has to drink that thing and die. Or they force him to drink it because you are mad now. And because of your madness, there's all these issues that have happened. Okay, you're not going historical. You want to go fantasy. Where is Ifa? What did he do to the gods? Is this Shango? Is this a patron saint of Oshun? There is a name. There is a name. There's a god, and there's a name of a god. Random witches don't do shit. What are you doing? Why is this called deity? This is so stupid. This is so insultive. It's not insultive. My own problem is just this. I just want people to know you can enjoy the movie. It's like the movie should be made. I'm not against it, but it's just I want people to know that this is not cultural. This is more of like a guy's ego. A guy who doesn't necessarily know that much of something. And if that is put out there and everybody just know this is just like more of like window dressing and not necessarily like there's an historical pattern or this is how the song. No, this is one guy's idea. This is more modern than it is in the history. I just want people to know that. And then I'm cool. Like I have wrote a tweet up of the storm of like, this is just horrible, horrible, horrible. Even the Ashokis and the Adire, there's not a way to differentiate between regular everyday people and like the chiefs and the queens and the something. If you watch what's it called? Anikwapo, you could differentiate, you could know what what's it called? You could know what rank people have. You could realize this is a much richer person. This is not a much richer person. This is a much something thing. You could that is what you call historical. And I'm not saying that it got everything right. Also, there was this one strange thing. Um, Como is taking slaves and captive, and I'm guessing this is in the 18th century. And then they say you should sell something. Como is apparently a farmer. Okay, Como is a warlord. He's not a farmer. Yes, they took slaves to work on farms, but it's also to sell slaves too. And Como rejects being a slaver. This again just me. What do you mean Como will reject being a slaver? Why is he taking that many slaves just to work on a farm? And he calls himself a farmer. No, he's not a farmer. It's Como. His name literally says it. He's a warlord. He's a slaver. He takes slaves, and then he takes the two people, the two royals or the two like something, and puts them in something, and everybody's saying, yeah. If those people are indeed two royals, why the fuck is he just going to put them in jails with like regular common people? That's an issue. That's a political issue. That's serious. And they don't want us to know. They don't, because now we know that slavery is bad, right? Because we're modern people, we know that slavery is bad. We know what they did. They sold people to the Americas. Da 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 da. We know it's wrong. This is our highs. So therefore, we can't say he's stealing. He's kidnapping people, but we must make sure that we know he's not selling people abroad.
Uh,
You lying ass motherfucking! This is the time that he's selling people abroad, Sorry.
okay.
I just have a lot of things with this. Like, I don't personally. It's just I want people to know this is window dressing. It's okay. The movie can be made. The movie is there. The movie is there. It's an ego. Please, nobody should be saying this is cultural or epic or something. It's not. It's just not.
Okay.
It's one man's egos.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think it all falls back to the lack of characterization, to be honest. Um, but then again, like Como is, is enslaving alleged royals. I mean, that makes sense for the guy who thinks just because he killed some dude, right, he gets to share rulership of a kingdom with the king, right? Do 2-year shifts. So I guess maybe that tracks. Also, maybe
Doesn't make any
keeping up with.
sense because the chiefs are made powerless. Literally, literally Basonu. There's a story of Basonu who killed 4 different kings because he was the one in power. It was the prime minister. It wasn't necessarily the king. So you're telling me the chiefs would just be there? That's not what happens in historical Yoruba.
They forgot
Those
to write
chiefs
the
actually have
chiefs.
power.
Lincoln. They forgot to write the chiefs.
Oh, it's
They
so
they
it's,
forgot
it's so
to
peaceful.
write them. That's the
This,
best they
they don't
can
know
do.
shit. They don't know history. They don't know, and it's okay. I'm not saying everybody should know history. I just happen to like history, and that's why I went to go study. No,
Yeah.
but like, don't put at least hire people, or even if you're going to write a fantasy something, at least you write normal fantasy that makes sense. Like if you put this fantasy in modern day, I won't be like this. I will not be like this. I am like this because why did you put it in the past? There is no mention of Ifa. There's no mention of any god. Any of the gods. Nothing. Just random witches. Are you kidding
Random witches. I need to put those random witches on a
me? They
t-shirt.
are random witches. They don't even have a name.
All right. Have you got it all out, Inka? Is it all
No,
out?
I haven't gotten it all out. It's pissing me off.
All right. Let's
Now,
move on.
what happened to just
Let's-
enjoying the movie and appreciating this new version on Sunday morning?
People should let you come finish, please.
I don't think Oyinkan can finish today, to be honest. He's gone through a lot.
No, the thing that got me, I was just like, okay, whatever. But the thing that got me was when everybody was saying it was cultural, this is like Yoruba something and everything.
Oh
I
yeah,
was like,
we're
what are you
sorry.
saying? What? Are you kidding me? What is
We
that? Is
apologize. We don't do
unforgivable.
it again. Next time we'll ask you before we comment. Okay, all right, Wayne. You go. I don't know. Get something off your
Yeah,
chest, I guess.
no. So first of all, I think I've been here for a while. I've not seen Oinkon this piece by any. I like we've seen some of the most trashy films on here. All of us can admit that Mr. C has put us through some of the worst things in life. But Odunlade, I'm never forgiving you for this because can you guys see Oinkon? Like this guy hurts her so. From my heart, I'm so sorry. Um, I think the same ban we put on AY, we'll put it on Odunlade. Any film that Odunlade does, AY, we are not watching it, please. Thank you. Now, to my own bad. Oh, to my continued bad. Um, you guys saw the scene where Balogun's kid was killed, right? Like there were like 400 and okay, not 400, but there were people there, and this guy just walked in and then shot the kid there, like all of us can see, and then all of those guys are like frozen in time. And then Balogun comes out. I was like, you killed my kid. And the guy is like, yeah. And then Balogun says, wait for me. And he goes, and then Balogun goes inside, then comes out and he's like, it's so, I don't, God, it doesn't make sense. Do you get it? Like, what?
I,
What was that?
I just have to say, when that thing happened, I had to tap Mr. C and like, did he for real kill the kid? He's like, yeah, okay. It's just the lack of passion in the why
Yeah,
did you kill my kid?
yeah.
It's like, wow,
What
why did
if
you even
my
kill
son
him?
dead? I would have liked him to see him tomorrow morning, but he's dead now. Okay, I guess like the. Let me continue because I wrote something from what Oinko said. Those people that came to what do you call them? The people that came to buy slaves. Why were they in the film? Why? Because when I saw that, I thought maybe because he said they sent you to me, and I thought maybe they were like, they were like spies or some. And it's like, what's the point? Why did we need that scene? Why did we need the scene of um of what's his name? Como wanting to rape that virgin and then killing her and then saying bring another girl. Why? Was it to show us that Como is a bad? We know he's he's kidnapping people. I'm not looking at this guy as the good guy. Why did we show that scene of that girl singing him a full-on 90 minutes track so he can forgive her? Why? And then it's like we know that Como has been going around places um Comoing for lack of better words. So why did he? It's all the kings in the world, are they mad? They were just allowing him to do his como lifestyle because nobody tried to stop him. Because we know that this is it's not. He didn't just start this in this village. This is what he does, right? That's how he has that name. So um how is it that nobody tried to stop him? And back to the thing we said, and I think everybody has reiterated so many times. If it was that Como was killing the king's people, who would understand? He's killing the people of the village, all my brothers, my sisters, my friends, and nobody in the village wants to stop it. Lastly, the end of this film, they push the king out of the throne because they say you are paralyzed now, so we'll send you away. But when he was mad, they couldn't send him away. Why? Did they suddenly get some power after putting us through this hellhole to be able to dethrone the king? Because the fact that they dethroned the king at the end, I mean, they could have in the beginning. The king has a prince. It's not even like they would have dethroned the king and like thrown him away. Like he has a prince. They would have said, okay, the prince can ascend the throne now because the king is mad. So like it's as honestly, nobody thought when they were doing this thing. There was no thinking. I know I said I like the cinematography because you could see that they planned it out. But like story-wise, there was no thinking. Nobody, if you ask them any Ikenna, you can go.
What's going on? Everybody is so upset.
Wait, you're so stressed. You're so stressed. But honestly, I think I've just been telling myself not to reason them because the people that did it themselves they not to reason them. So why should I? But yeah, Uchenna, take it away.
Okay, I think I'm going to push back very lightly on Onyekon. Like, when she talks about how the Yoruba was too contemporary, I mean, isn't that more or less the trend for period films these days? I mean, worldwide, to use a lot more contemporary language, music, sometimes even styles, very, very deliberately. Um, and personally, that's something that um, I used to have a problem with, to be honest, because I'm a historian myself, and I tend to be a bit anal about the details in these things. But I've relaxed my stance on that sort of thing because I understand that it's done to make people relate to it a little easier, especially in this era where there are a lot of people who will reject the idea of watching something set in a different era offhand. So I understand why they do things like that. And sometimes it's amusing. Like, I don't know, I'm a Yoruba speaker, so I don't really know how it was playing in the spoken language. But in the subtitles, the use of words like twerking and stuff like that, I thought that was a little bit amusing. So I don't know. Sometimes it can be taken too far where it's completely jarring. So I don't know if that's a situation in this case, but I do I do get what you mean in terms of that. Um, but the place that I do agree with you is I lost my train of thought actually. Wait, hold on. Yeah, there's something you said that I did very much just agree with. Um, well, I'll come back to it if I remember.
Okay, some actual
Oh,
pushback in the pushback section. That's great.
to reply?
Uh,
Yes.
yeah, you reply then, Mr. C can give his own pushback.
Yeah. Yeah, to reply, yes. I'm also agreeing with you in the fact that yes, all modern any movie made at that time is definitely more is a reflection of the time. And I'm not actually that upset with that. I'm just pointing that out of something. I'm not even that really upset with this movie. The only thing I'm upset is that I want people to understand. I just like the idea that it's going to say, I hope it's not the one saying it, that like, oh, we're representing Yoruba culture and history, and people will take some historical something from this when it is absolutely not anything about that. It's just one man's ego driven something. And that's it. And like maybe I'm a little bit pathetically like, why are you calling yourself Orisha when there's no Orisha here in this? So that's kind of just my something. Yeah, I'm really chill with a lot of like I love history. I'm really chill with a lot of historical things because I'm like that's not what they're going for. The only time I get upset is whenever they're selling themselves as historically right or something like that. Like, calm down, know yourself. You don't go beyond yourself. Don't go beyond your boundary. Like that's it. And I just
Yeah,
don't
actually,
want people to know that. I just
actually,
don't want people
as
to
you
know
started
that.
speaking, I remembered what I did want to say, and you actually reinforced it now again. This is again another reason I just don't like epics, so-called epics, and I can't say epic without putting quotes around it too. Another reason I just don't like these so-called epics is because they're not historically accurate. And look, I'm not looking for a historical dissertation, but I'm like, I understand the artistic license to not be historically accurate. But if you're gonna be not historically accurate, why not come up with something a bit more ambitious? There's something that's very low rent about them. And what I hate most is the fact that they always sell themselves as being cultural when so often they are not. Very, very much not cultural. They're not historically accurate, they're not culturally accurate, and they're just not interesting to look at. So that's why I just cannot get into the epic genre as a whole. And the cultural thing that you mentioned is a big part of it. I hate the fact that they're in a lot of cases in Nigeria, our history is a mystery. And a lot of stuff that we think of as our culture is actually not our culture. And I think that these movies help to perpetuate that. But their biggest sin is that they're just not interesting to me.
Okay, thanks Uche and Oyinkan. Mr. C, you had some pushback?
Yeah, just for the people going on, nice to see. I think Mrs. C actually falls into this. Nice to see Shafi Bello in something different. Like, I don't
Hey,
know.
we're scrambling for goods.
I mean, okay, well, this pushback section, fuck that good, is what I'm saying. Like, um, like Shafi, didn't Shafi start in like Yoruba? Like, I don't know whether she did epics, but I know she started in like a bunch of all
Yeah,
this
but
Yoruba
it's been
movies
a
where she's
while
playing
now. But she someone mentioned
election.
she did election. Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
and
one of
even
those, there's like 10 of the other ones.
even Big Love is a Raz
True,
Shafi Bella. Like, I'm that's this year. So I mean, anyway.
Sorry, we just like
All
saying
right,
Shafi.
yeah. Well, I
Even
just
election number, she was not the other person.
I saw him, as a marksman. I saw a target, when somebody said Shafi. But no, Shafi Bella that's what we like Shafi Bella for, is her range. It's not, yeah, it's this is not the best. This is not even like. I didn't think this was a great Shafi Bella, to be honest. I think one of the things I wanted to say, I forgot to even say in my not good, is that Femi Adebayo is somebody I think has had charisma on screen in all of the films I have watched him in, even the ones I have not liked. I've always said, even like when he was overdoing his ticking thing in Jagun Jagun, I still think it has a screen presence and a charisma that this performance maybe didn't particularly call for, but it was lacking anyway. There was nothing charismatic about this Femi Ade. Like, it looked like he was just to be honest, and it could just be just how crap the script or non-existent the script was, and how poor the direction was. It just felt like he was reaching every time. It felt like many people have said, including Mr. C, it felt like a high school play. Yeah, but that's me.
Okay.
Um, sorry, I wanted to say something about what Uchenna said. Sorry to cost you. So Uchenna, I think another thing about, because when Oyinkan said, and I had agreed in my heart, it was because she said it sounds like Lagos Yoruba, and this is the difference. Um, when I'm probably one of the worst Yoruba speakers. I speak Yoruba with a very terrible accent, so I don't even speak it in public. Um, and we have friends that this person speaks, and the person sounds like an oracle. Like, the Yoruba they use, we have to like scramble to understand what they mean, and have to use like context to understand, because there's like this Yoruba that is like Yoruba, and there's Yoruba that has been like, I don't want to say watered down, but like, you get. So when we watch things like epics and all of these things, we usually have like the Yoruba being so strong that many times you have to read the subtitles. For instance, when they were doing their offers, or their poems, or whatever they were doing, like when you hear, it's like when you, even Igbo, when you hear Chiwetel Lagu say some of those things, they just sound so deep. And these ones were just like something I could say. Like something one Yoruba boy that's 24 can say, not something that people were saying. Like the language itself just doesn't feel archaic. And I love Bridgerton, and Bridgerton has like a lot of like um songs. They are using like Miley Cyrus songs, but in that time, like obviously we understand that, but it's like, at least don't be just, you're if you're Yoruba, you understand what I mean. That the Yoruba doesn't feel deep; it just feels eh.
Okay. Yes. So I see. You and Oyinkan will have your foot on their necks over the Yoruba used in this film. All right. That was. I really hope everyone has gotten everything out of their chests. We happy to move on to the summaries, because honestly, this film has gotten more time than it deserved from us. Uchenna, can you kick us off with your summary, please?
I think I said my summary earlier. Basically, it just comes down to the old this is not for me, it might be for others. But in general, even if others say that they do like it, I think they would be better served if the movie had created better characters, and probably a better idea of the political system and how it's impacted by the king's insanity. So yeah, it needed a couple of extra drafts. I think that's becoming another one of my catchphrases. But yeah, it just needed to be written a little bit more. but it just didn't give me anything to hold on to.
Okay, thanks, Uchenna. When you say it could be for others, I'm really wondering for who, because not one person here like paid attention to this thing to the end. So,
Well,
although I
it made money in the cinema, and I don't
Onye
want to say
finished
that. I don't
it.
want to say those people
Onye
are
finished
fools.
it.
okay, I want to I really want to do a survey of people who saw it in cinema. But
Onye, you have more loyalty to this thing than the actual people who adore Yoruba.
look,
So
I
I
finished this
think
thing
I
too,
think
but I did not
we
take too
appreciate
much
it.
to the end.
Well, eh? What did
No,
you
Oh,
I
say?
think the
summary,
reason why
people, summary.
I think I came in. Sorry, I just wanted to say with the loyalty. The reason why I finished it was because I didn't watch a lot of Yoruba movies, and I haven't really watched one of these epics before. So I just came in with that open mind, and every time that I saw something that I didn't like, I just set it aside, and I didn't really. Yeah, I just wanted to finish it because I didn't know if I would be judging from a place of I don't know what's happening because this is new terrain for me, or I don't actually like it.
Oh, bless you.
You
So
tried. You tried. You tried.
Okay. Let's get the summary from Wayne. Give us your oh, Cynthia, actually. Cynthia, give us your summary.
Oh yeah,
Is it
so
is it Uchenna first?
Uchenna has given his summary, Wayne.
now wow.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Emotions are high for you. Cynthia, what's your summary, please?
Oh yeah. Well, in summary, to be honest, this is the worst movie I've seen this year. I felt very disrespected. Because I think if you have a product to sell or if you have a product to put out, you should actually consider your consumers. Okay. So I didn't like that Oyinko have been saying man ego is audacity. He decided he wants to make a film and he brought all his friends or whatever into the film. No script, nothing. Come, go, do what you like, and you go. So I felt really, really disrespected. Okay. So it's the worst movie I've seen this year. It's disrespected me. I would love filmmakers to actually care about their consumers when they're making movies because we have other things to do with our time. I couldn't finish it. I will not recommend it to anybody because there's really nothing to watch. Like there's no character, there's no story, there's nothing to watch. I won't also recommend it to my enemies because because I want my enemies to suffer from seeing me succeeding and not from me inflicting pain on them. So yeah, it's just a very, very awful movie and it's really disrespected me. That's what I can say.
All right. Thank you, Cynthia. Yeah, but fair enough. Fair enough. Your choice of what you want your enemies to suffer from. Wayne, I mean, do you have more of a summary to give?
No, it's just something small. So same like Cynthia. This is the worst film of 20 of probably 2000s. Um, but of 2024, and let's put that in context. I watched Merry Men 3 in 2024. In fact, I watched Merry Men 1, 2, and 3 this year, right? I also watched okay, yes, let me know because this we are talking bottom barrel here. So if this film falls below AY's exploits, you know that. I would not be recommending. In fact, I will be actively stopping people. If I go to your house and I see you open Prime and want to click this video, I will disconnect your internet. I will actively be stopping people, you know, from seeing this. So yeah, never again. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Mr. C is here proposing a few other contenders for the worst film of the 2000s. But yeah, I think I'll go so far as to say this is worse than Glamour Girls. But let us move on. Otas, what is your summary?
Hmm, um, so I still haven't finished this, and I probably never will. So it's quite obvious that I will not be recommending this. Um, is there a chance that maybe one day I will hate myself enough to want to watch this again and try and finish it? Possibly, but I would hope if any of you see me tweeting about this, call for help. Um, but the story, the plot, the writing, the set, the costumes, um, it was definitely made by a primary school drama club. The eyeliner tribal marks, I don't know. I don't know. Um, at some point, there was a brown puffer jacket that the lordship was wearing with little red and blue sacks glued all over it. And as if that wasn't bad enough, they brought it back again for Odunlade, but in red. Uh, it- And then what was on the horse's head? Like, that's animal abuse. There's just so much going on in just how they decided to costume this. That is just troubling to me, even more than the lack of story. Um, the CGI was physically distressing. Somebody did that on PowerPoint, and I just everything, nothing works. Nothing is working. I don't know. Fourth week of NFC in 2024, and look at the material 4 weeks in a row. I don't know what to say.
Hey, this is the worst of the four.
May
Please
God
and
help
thank
us
you.
all. May God
Um,
help us all, and may God forgive everyone involved in this. Um, unless it was actually children, in which case, fair enough.
well then, thank you. I forgot the drawn on tribal marks in my bad as well, because I know we have passed this level. We have passed this level. We know how to do this better. So that was just unforgivable. Um Oyinkan, summary.
Okay. Uh, I'm an honest person. This movie is not a cultural movie. It is a movie made by a guy who knows absolutely nothing about ancient Yoruba, or not even ancient Yoruba, pre-modern. It's actually modern times. We'll say pre-colonial Yoruba town, Yoruba, pre-colonial Yoruba towns or Greek European. Absolutely nothing. And he just made a movie that you will normally make in modern times and put it into the past. That's my summary. Now, if you like Odulade's movies that is made in modern times, this is worse. Well, it's not that those movies are completely bad. It's not that they're bad. This is badder than that, not because it's just in ancient times, because they literally don't have a story. If you want 40 minutes of repetition of The King is Mad, you are free to watch it on a Saturday night, on a Sunday night. Movies are just for entertainment. And if this entertains you, you can take 30 minutes to see if it entertains you. And if you want to continue, continue. It is your choice. As for me, and if I meet you, if I like you, I will never recommend this movie to you. But if you know about the movie, you know about the movie and you want to watch it and you like Ordinary, go ahead. If you stop in 30 minutes mark, there are other Odunlade movies that are actually good that you should go watch. Okay. That is my summary.
All right. Thank you, Oyinka. Oyi, please give me your summary.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's just interesting to see Oyinka on here this wonderful Sunday. So I think this movie is a perfect example of what do they call it? Jack of all trades, master of none. And it tried to do so many things. It was neither plot driven nor character driven. It just it was all over the place. I really tried to be open minded. I pushed myself to finish it. I don't know whether I regret that decision, to be honest, but it just means that I can justify how I feel about it. And it's good to see that I was actually gaslighting myself. I truly did not enjoy what the direction that this movie took. There were just so many things that were not well thought out. It felt like it was an ego trip for the person who directed this movie. And overall, I was just disappointed. But you know what? Nollywood will always disappoint me. That's just one thing I can give. Like every week, I think I've seen the worst, and then I see something worse than what I saw the previous week. And I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for something different. Maybe next week, maybe the week after that. I don't know. But I just wish we can make one epic that's good. Yeah. So that's all.
All right.
So maybe we'll vote for a better movie next time, Mr. and Mrs. C. Side eye.
All right, thanks. I mean, although if we're talking about epics, I think this is the worst of the most recent ones we've been given. But yeah, I think I've gotten everyone's summary. Muyi is evil. Muyi tweeted, "Can't lie, I'm glad all of you experienced it. Thank you, Mr. C." Uh, I see y'all like to share this. Misery does love company. So yeah, Ekene, what is your summary?
All right. My summary was I did not like the experience. I did not enjoy that. So I think it was Wayne who tweeted that he will never forgive me for making us watch it. We're all on when this is together. We ride together, we die together. We watch together. Like it's part of the thing. And also, even though that you feel like you may not have gained anything, but now you know that there's some people whose right, if you see writer, directed, and starring a certain person, you just avoid. And there we go. We've learned something. The silver lining. I'm trying to put a silver lining on this shit sandwich we just had. But sorry. Hopefully next week it might be better. I think we might do a Nollywood topic.
Why not rom-com? Come on, it's Valentine.
We're in February.
Oh, next week is
Yeah, like I will
Valentine.
get Vanessa and incite a riot. What do you think this is?
Well, next Sunday would be just before Valentine. Is this?
No,
I
it'll be
think
just after, no?
no. This fourth. Today's the 4th. Next Sunday will be the 11th.
Oh yeah.
Valentine is on the 14th.
That's okay.
Just
We
in
can have
case.
2 romantic weekends in a row.
No, last year we did.
We did a whole month.
Yes.
Yeah.
You remember how that month
And
went?
then you start us off with this.
You
Like,
remember?
All right,
Okay.
let's go look for romance.
Okay. All right.
All
No,
right.
you guys can
Also submit your romance suggestions.
All right. Yes, we can do something like that again. Actually, I'll leave that up for Mr. C to decide. So you guys can drag her if things don't go right.
You know what always drag you?
is this our first consensus? Like, I feel like everybody pretty much was on the same page here.
So what I'm hearing is that maybe we should go do a throwback to Letters to a
Let us know a
Stranger.
stranger.
Yes.
I think we're going there.
Of course. And you guys started
Didn't we
seeing
just
it.
do that
Of
movie
course, the
like
next thing
last
that's
year?
coming out of our mouth is
Let
letters
us
to
know
a
a
stranger.
stranger. I'm tasking you with find me where we can watch Letters to a Stranger.
It's YouTube, but it's like
No.
On
I
YouTube.
want her to find me one Letters to a Stranger. If you can find me where we can watch it, we'll think about it.
No, we'll do it. We'll do it.
In
We won't even think about it. We'll do it.
just
Okay.
find where we can watch it. Yeah. Anywho, for my summary of this is one of the worst things I have seen. Like Cynthia said, it was disrespectful, and I think what is more annoying for me is we have a lot of not good Nollywood films, and we're not in the best place. But I know that we have passed this one. I know that Orisa is not where we are. So it's very irritating for me to get into 2024 and see Orisa. I know we have passed it. I know this is not where we are. So that was a we have more relatively more advanced problems we're dealing with than this. So let's not do it. Let's not pull us back. I will not be recommending this to anybody whatsoever. So yes, we are. It seems we've reached some kind of consensus. We're going to be looking at love, romance. So if anyone has any romance suggestions, feel free to tweet them, DM them, come to my house and tell me. However you want to pass it across.
Where is your house address? What's your house address?
Cynthia, you're a stalker, find it.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
We'll find
We'll find it. Like, give her a challenge. But yeah.
Actually, I want to make sure you're not home because on that time, because of this movie, I want to come for Mr. C and I will show you exactly what they did in ancient Yoruba to kings who did not do their job well. The earth has rejected you.
I'll show up with the
Rejected you.
projector and
No.
everything for a history lesson.
Yes. You need a history lesson, Mr. C.
Bring snacks. Bring snacks when you're coming.
Oh, yeah. The snacks usually use poison. It was a snack. It was a poison called where you had to drink it.
All right. Again, they will dethrone you with poison from the Council of Chiefs. All right. Thanks everyone for this space. You know what? No matter how shit the film is, we still manage to have a good time. And that is because of all of you. So thank you very much. We shall see you next week, hopefully with some romance. And have a good week. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed listening and would like to join live, just follow us on Twitter at Iroko Critic and join us every Sunday 6 p.m. West African time on our spaces.